hat on taxiway Bravo right before November Bravo.
You got a hat on November Bravo, you said?
That's affirmative.
Okay. A hat. Any prototype vehicle on frequency?
City ground, you got 9-4.
9-4, there's a hat on taxiway Bravo and November Bravo, if you could go take a look.
Hey guys, it's Rob Miller from Flightsimtoday.com, and today we are reviewing the Orbx West Yellowstone Airport. That's Kilo Whiskey Yankee Sierra. This is their second airport for the CRM, the Central Rockies Mountains region. I have to say, it is fantastic, but like any Orbx product, they all are, really. Not a lot of bad things can be said. The airport itself actually has a really long runway, long enough that a 747 can actually land in there. And Air Force One actually visited this place about several years ago. So it is good for your general aviation, but also for your heavies. So anyone can fly into this region. Fantastic scenery all around there. As you can see, a little bit about the product that Orbx boasts about is that the airport ground imagery is at a 30cm detail, so crisp and clear. The whole region is covered 95.1 square miles of the whole valley, which includes Hebgen Lake and West Yellowstone, which when we go into the product we'll visit. And it also includes Horse Butte, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, in 90cm detail. And obviously then detailed airport itself. High def grounds, and it uses all their flows, so the creature flow, people flow, and the static flow. And it actually claims to integrate into CRM well, and I have to say it does, having already used the product. Again, we'll go into that soon. It is meant to be optimized for the NGX, PMD NGX. I don't own the product, so I can't vouch for that. But if they say it, it's normally true. These guys are true to their word. And obviously then as well, the seasons, fantastic way it all integrates with the seasons. I have to say my favourite is the winter, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail. In terms of the installation, okay, which we'll go over now. Okay, so the installation for the product of West Yellowstone. Dead simple. If you have any other Orbx products, you'll know the ins and outs of it all. But to cover it simply, you run through the installation, the installer. Dead simple. It'll execute. During that phase, you'll import your order number, order date, and registration key, which you'll get with your email that you used to purchase with. They'll all be in there, so just copy and paste it in, and then just follow the on-screen instructions all the way through. Once you have reached that stage as the finish, you'll see this FTX central utility, and this is where you're going to activate the scenery. So it's not available all the time, unless you have it activated all the time. So if I'm not too sure at this point because I have many Orbx products available, but you have a default FSX, which is all your default textures. And the one you want to select is North America, and then select apply, and this will put the scenery files into your FSX, and upon loading FSX it will load the scenery files up. So North America, and select apply. On the right hand side we also have a control panel for West Yellowstone, and basically in here this is where you'll select or deselect, depending on personal preference, any of the actual people flows and the creature flows, what style of graphs you'd prefer, if you want the static aircraft, and the summer wildfires I should say, on or not. Again, personal preference, but I'll go through some of these with you as we go into the product itself. There is also the PDF, so the user guide for the product in here, and basically it's a 25-page user guide in here. Covers all sorts. So obviously the installation side of things, there are some charts available. Within the PDF there is also a link to a website called Skyvector, or skyvector.com. This is set for Yellowstone itself, but it's actually a fantastic website for your charts. Didn't know this site existed until reviewing the document, but it is really fantastic, easy to navigate. It's well worth checking out all on its own. That's skyvector.com. So have a look at that when you get the chance. But then we have obviously the scenery coverage area, and then the recommended settings for FSX, the sliders, things like that. So it's only 25 pages, so have a quick read through, and then obviously you're all set up then to go into the product itself, which we will do from this point. So that's installation covered, and let's go into see what West Yellowstone and Orbx has to offer. Okay, at this point here we can see the actual flows that Orbx talks about in a bit more detail as well. So you see the trees swaying in the wind just on the left hand side of the shot. We have the dog up on the porch, and you'll see the creature flow there just moving around, and the people flow as the lady sat there on the chair twitching her foot. As you can see, the dog getting a bit impatient by the looks of it, really wanting to go off, but well trained. And what looks like a gentleman on the porch, I think he's on his phone actually, probably wondering why the flight's not leaving as I'm sat there staring at the lady and the dog. But yeah, so you see the actual flows in action here. Really well done, brings an extra sense of realism to the airfield. Okay, so we're just going to do an overfly now of the airfield, just to see what the textures are like from above. So at this point I'll probably let the video run through as we cross the airfield, but what you will see is some fantastic grass scenery. The way the grass blends in, the apron itself looks fantastic, the textures, they blend well with the surrounding scenery. So yeah, just watch the video through and you'll see for yourself. Okay, so at this point I thought we could see the night textures and see what the night lighting was like across the airfield. Now I do use the ENB series mod, and it could be this that's giving this effect, but it's really dark. I mean, I don't advise to fly at night in this area anyway, because you're missing out on a hell of a lot of beautiful looking scenery in the whole package. But if you are wanting to fly at night, it may be difficult. I mean, the runway is lit, as you can see, so it's possible to see that. And the actual main apron, there's two lamps that light it as we overfly in a second, but that's about it. I'm not sure if the taxiways are lit, and like I said, as you fly over now, it could just be my mod, but I have noticed at the other airfields it possibly could. So, like I said, I wouldn't advise to fly at night anyway, because you're missing out a lot. But I wanted to show you the night textures regardless. So, I said the lamps are down there, and the buildings are lit. And it may be as you get closer you will see a lot more anyway, because as we overfly the runway in a second, you can actually see it lit up properly. So again, it's your personal preference. If you fly at night, I choose not to, but I did want to show the textures anyway. Okay, so at this point here, I'm just going to record or talk about the different seasons and how it looks with the textures. Now, the summer and winter obviously do look different. That's about it, I can notice. One thing you will see is during the summer, the airfield is actually open and busy. During the winter, because the winter months are really heavy, the airport's closed. And you will see that on the apron in a second. As we depart now, you go past the apron, you'll see all the static aircraft. And the other thing is, why is the people are there during the summer? When the winter months come round, you'll see in a second, it's dead, the people. So the people flow there all disappeared, static aircraft all disappeared. And I have to say, during the winter, I do prefer it. There's just something about it. Well, I say the difference between the autumn or fall, depending on where you are in the world, and the winter textures don't look different for me, and it could be my system, I'm not too sure, but they just look the same. One thing I would have liked maybe is to remove the snow and maybe have different colours on the trees as the leaves start changing, things like that. Oranges, reds, just a bit more of an effect. But you'll see in a second as we go into winter how it just looks the same. One neat little trick they do though in the winter textures is the lake, which we'll get onto later on, is frozen. The rivers are frozen, and it does look really, really good. But that's what they have captured, and obviously now we're getting towards the outside of the airfield. The extras is Yellowstone as the town, which will appear from the bottom right hand screen now. Really good job on this. It's the right shape for the town, the road leading in and out, and the correct place. And the distance from Yellowstone is also the actual airfield itself is set in the right place. Like I said, I prefer flying in the winter because it just adds that coldness, but it's personal preference. We'll see in a second as the spring textures come back in. I've included a real image of Yellowstone to give you an idea how well they have actually modelled Yellowstone. So you can let it run out now, and we'll get on to the extras such as the summer fires and things like that. Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, oh, what's he flying now? Where is he going? And one thing that was mentioned before that's covered is Hebgen Lake. It's one of the sign points, it's just northwest of runway 01 at West Yellowstone. And in the winter, as you see, it's frozen. And so I know none of you thinking, well, whereabouts is it? I can't actually see it, but it is down there. And in a minute you'll realise, there we go, and there is the Hebgen Lake. It is depicted really well, I have to say, and even though I said earlier how I like flying in the winter, this is one place that is impressive in the summer, in the summer months. As we fly down, you'll see fantastic scenery around and lake effects, and it's just overall really nice. As you fly down the lake, the top northeast corner, which I will fly into and we'll get to in a second, you'll realise that everything is in its place as it should be as well. And by that I mean there is a marina called Kirkwood Marina, which is at the top of the lake, and that's fantastically depicted as well. So everything in the scenery and around the lake is where it should be, is in real life. So I let the clip play out, I'll let you take it all in. You'll see the shot of Kirkwood Marina, both real and as we overfly it, to get a sense of what I really mean. Okay, so here we are now, approaching one of the summer fires that are part of the scenery package. Just before we approach it, we're actually going to go over the Norris Geyser Basin, so I thought I'd show a few images, real images, and as we fly over before approaching the fire, which is in this instance wildfire 1 of 3. So from afar it actually looks really realistic. As you approach it, you get a sense of the smoke in the air, the flames really lapping up the whole of the forest. One thing that would have been good, and it's more FSX and Orbx themselves, is wind blowing the smoke the way the wind's blowing, but yeah, it's only a small minute thing. As you get close to it, you'll see the sparks, and you'll get a feel for the panic that would be down there. So watch the clip and enjoy the fire. So we've come to the conclusion of this video now, and we're going to talk about the good points to the package first of all. And the first point to cover is it's got fantastic winter landscapes, great frozen lakes, frozen rivers, adds that really depth to it being winter. The new wildfires, Fantastic spot, flying really very good to visit. That's a different dimension. Yellowstone, West Yellowstone is a great location to explore the whole of Yellowstone National Park. The flow technologies adds a real depth to the airport, people and things happening in the hustle and bustle. And the Heavenly Link, which is flying over here now, which has been done really well. If you've got a float plane, you can land the float plane on there. And the bad points, there's not many. I've only found 2 really, just to go over. So basically the first one is a lack of animals like bison. You'll find bison all over in Yellowstone, and yet you don't see one in FSX. And there's no strong autumn fall colours, so the oranges and the reds coming off the trees, which has been really good. So the 2 key points that I've covered, and I hope you've enjoyed this. West Yellowstone from Orbx is available from Flightsimtoday.com, valued at $34.39 US, or £21.50 in Great British pounds. So definitely worth picking up, and it fits really well in Orbx's Central Rockies Mountains package. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and leave a comment or anything you want to know, then you can do. Thanks.